Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. Here we are now, end of March. Time to wrap up how I've been going with these pens. So here's six pens, should I say, that I started the month with. I don't know, can't count today. The theme this month, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. All Australian-made pens filled with Australian-made inks. So it's been a really interesting month. And I'm still, although I'm going to rank these in a minute, it's been so hard because they are all so nice pens. So join me now, down on the table. Let's take a look. How did I get on with ranking these pens? Welcome down to the table. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. That was my theme this month. We started the month with a Just Turn-Ins Mimas with Van Dieman Twilight Mist. The Platypus Pens Model 10 with Van Dieman Apple Island Green. The Just Turn-Ins Enceladus with Robert Oster Terracotta. And then I did change the ink and I didn't write it in. And I changed it to Van Dieman. See, we're getting live updates here. And it was Azure Kingfisher. Gorgeous blue ink. We then also had the ThatPenBloke fountain pen with Robert Oster Ryde Green. The Just Turn-Ins Enceladus in the Elvenwood. We started the month with Van Dieman Deciduous Beech, and then we finished it with Robert Oster Aussie Brown. And the Pens by Casey Mokuzai 13 with Robert Oster Caffe Crema. So what I've had to do is rank these pens, and this has been the most difficult month for me to do the ranking. I very nearly thought, no, I'm not going to rank them at all. I'm going to give them all position 1. But then I thought, well, no, that defeats the purpose of the idea of what I'm doing. So I had to think very long and very hard on this because I loved every single one of the pens. Every single one of the pens should be position number 1. But I ranked them, so let's go on. Position number 6, I decided to give to the Platypus Pens Model 10. This is the 3D printed pen. Very nice pen. There you can see there. Got this lovely herringbone pattern. Let me see if I actually get it in the camera for you. There we go. Oops. There's that herringbone pattern. Loads of different colours available. I went for this green because, I like green. Cartridge converter. All the pens cartridge converters. Most of the pens like this are actually out of ink. I just haven't cleaned this one out yet. Nice pen in the hand, nice to hold, nice to write with. Got a broad Yoho nib on it. There's the nib. All the pens but one have got Yoho nibs. Nice fit in the hand. It will sort of post, but I feel it posts and it feels very long. And that back is a bit wobbly. I don't post my pen so it doesn't bother me. Why have I marked it down? Well, I've marked it down, I've got to be honest, purely it's the material. All the other are in gorgeous either wood or resins, look very attractive, where this doesn't have that same attractiveness to it. That's purely the only reason. It's still a pen I like to use. It's just not, well, for a better word, it's not a pretty pen. But as I say, I'm having to rank these. So I'm going to give this position number 6. And isn't that a good start? My ranking pen doesn't work. Let me just get this scribbled off a bit. There we go. Position number 6. This is a Jinhao 997. And I do have quite a lot of hard starting issues with it. Once this is empty, I'm going to clean it out, pull out the nib and feed and see if I can do a little bit of work on it. Once it writes really well. But as soon as I leave it for more than a couple of minutes, it stops writing. But we're not here to talk about the Jinhao pen. So the Platypus Pens Model 10, reluctantly having to give it position 6 because, as I say, all of these pens deserve position 1. At position number 5, again, had to think long and hard on this, but I've decided to give it to the Just Turn-Ins Mimas with the Van Dieman Twilight Mist. Beautiful colouring on this. This is black copper. It's actually a resin that Stephen Just, who is the guy that owns Just Turn-Ins, he makes this himself. He pours this resin himself. Very, very pretty. Got a black Yoho nib there, so it matches in with this black theme. And as I say, like all the others, cartridge converter. So why am I giving this position number 5? Do you know, the only reason is the ink. So the ink is by Dieman, which is, again, it's an Australian company. It's a shimmer ink. There's meant to be a really bright purple shimmer. And not sure, you can see here from my initial testing, very rarely do I actually see the shimmer, no matter how much I agitate the pen. And I've had 2 fills in this. I've really given it as much of a chance as I can. What I find is the shimmer just doesn't really appear. That's the only reason I've marked it down. It's been so hard to rank. So it's beautiful pen. Another one, extremely comfortable in the hand. Nice width, nice length, nice width there in that section, comfortable to use. Nice nib on it. No problems with the threads. Purely, it was the ink. I'm being really harsh this month, really having to think about these. But I'm ranking, so this comes in at position number 5. So that's the Just Turnings Mimas. At position number 4, again, having to think long and hard on this. For position number 4, I've decided to go with the Just Turnings Enceladus, and this time this is in the Brooks Blanks Golden Blue Jay. Beautiful acrylic, just look at that. Hopefully the camera's catching this as, all these different colours in it. Really nice. Why is it position number 4? Let me just move this up a little bit. Well, again, the pen, very, very nice looking. Look at that. Such a pretty pen. Again, nice length, nice width. We've got a broad Yoho nib on there. We've got a converter in there. As you see, the ink, not a lot of ink left in. This is the second lot of ink, as we saw from the start. Nice smooth nib. Again, had very little issues with it. If I fetch in the Mimas, a couple of little differences between them. Main one being the length of the cap. That's the main difference. But other than that, they are very, very similar. Let me just move my thumb out of the way. See if I can get these to rest on my hands. There you go. Very, very similar. Again, the reason for marking this down, I'm actually putting down to the ink. Dieman Azure Kingfisher, beautiful blue. Now we can see little bits in there coming through. There's a gold shimmer. Hopefully we can see that. But that shimmer, it settles very quickly. So what I find is I've constantly, every few words, I've got to agitate the pen again just to get that shimmer to come through. So that, to be honest, that's the only reason I'm marking it down. Other than that, I love the pen. I love using it. I love the way it looks. It's such a nice, attractive looking pen. Very nice. But again, as we say, we are ranking. So this ranks at position number 4. So that's the Just Turnings Enceladus in Golden Blue Jay. Just dropping in to interrupt your regular programming. Would you like to help support the channel? If so, please consider joining as a member. As a member, you'll get early access to my videos. I normally upload them a couple of days before they go out, and as soon as they're uploaded, they'll be released to members. There'll also be a shout out at the end of the videos, and then as we get the members coming in, we'll actually chat among ourselves and work out what other perks, what other things you'd like me to add in. Would you like maybe a monthly live chat just for members? All down to us. So please, if you can, consider joining the channel. A link will be in the description down below. So we're down to 3 pens now. Which pen's going to come in at position number 3? For this one, I've decided to go for my second Just Turnings Enceladus. This is in the Brooks Blanks Elvenwood, and this one's a matte finish as opposed to the previous pen, the Golden Blue Jay, which was in a gloss finish. Just putting them 2 side by side so you can get a rough idea of the different finishes. Beautiful pen. Although it looks like it's made of wood, it's not. It's a resin pen. Nice smooth threads. Cartridge converter. There we go. This one, virtually out of ink. This is today's working pen, so I'm guessing that will finish off writing today. Very similar to the previous two pens, you know, it's comfortable, nice length, nice width. The nib on here, this is a broad nib, but it's by Cypress, Mr. Cypress, it's sometimes called. This is more of an Asian broad and very nice, writes very smoothly, got lovely feedback to it. I will be honest, I think it's got a nicer feedback than what I get from the Yoho nibs, which is why this is position 3 rather than position 4 of the other Enceladus. Very attractive pen. Just look at these colours. Really nice. You know, we've got coppery colours in there. Got browns. Got gold. Such a really nice looking pen. But for my ranking, I've decided to give this position number 3. One thing I will say with this, the Van Dieman Deciduous Beech wasn't as nice a combo as I was hoping for, but with this Robert Oster Aussie Brown, wow, it is so nice. It's very, very nice to write with. And I get some nice shading with that Aussie Brown ink. So that was the Just Turnings Enceladus. Position number 2. Well, we've got a choice of 2, haven't we? This is another one I really had to really sit there and hum and how about it, and really it was so difficult to choose. In the end, I went for position number 2, going to the Pens by Casey Mokuzai 13. This is a wooden pen. This is such a gorgeous pen. The wood, it's Northern York Pearl. Now this, as I've said multiple times, is a tree that grows not far from me. About half an hour is where its growing range. About half an hour from where I live is where its growing range starts. So, you know, there's that little bit of a local touch to it as well. Ebonite section, fully lined with ebonite. Because it's lined, I don't have to worry about that nib drying out. Again, cartridge converter. It's another one. All the pens but 2 are out of ink. And the 2 that have got ink in them are both of the Enceladus models. And both of those are virtually out of ink. You know, the thread's very smooth. It's a nice size. There we go. Doesn't post. You know, even if it did, I wouldn't post it. I'd be worried about scratching this gorgeous gloss finish. Nice, really, really nice feel in the hand. Got a 1.1 stub. Now, at the start of the month, when I was recording my intro for this stub did do some hard starting. Not had that since. So I think that was just an aberration at the start of the month. Very rarely had any issues with this. Comfortable. Maybe feels a little bit on the narrow side, but I'm being extremely picky there. Just beautiful pen. The Robert Oster Caffe Crema is one of my favourite brown inks. That and Dieman Tobacco Sunburst are my 2 favourite browns. I mean, we've got loads of shades in, and as I've been going through the month, the shading in this ink really jumps out at you. But again, I'm having to do my ranking, and I've decided this comes in at position number 2. So that's the Pens by Casey Mokuzai 13. Just one more spin there for you. Which means by default, let's move this down, there can only be one winner because there's only one pen left. And that's the ThatPenBloke fountain pen. This is in a resin called Something Special. And just lift this up a bit to the camera so you can see it. Beautiful resin. Loads of different tones. We've got yellows, we've got greens, we've got like reds and what I call red purple. Glorious to behold. A couple of people have asked, is this actually wood? No, it's not. It's resin. It's a resin that he's poured himself. It's a long pen, and that's what I like about it. That, to be honest, is the reason why this is number 1. It's a really long pen. It's a really nice size pen. The section, very long. It's concave. My fingers just sit there lovely at the bottom. It just rests in my hand and then it almost disappears whilst I'm writing. The nib on here is a broad Yoho nib. There's a nib. And Comes with a converter. Now at the start of the month, I did have some powder come out of this when I took the body off. That I'm putting down to being a Gary issue. You know, as I said in my halftime report, pens are tools. They're not there to stare at. So I do use these quite heavily. And we've had quite a lot of heat. So I just think it was me, the way I was rolling the pen around on my desk. And I know it does occasionally drop off. One of the downside with all these pens, because there's no roll stop. So what I do is I've got this, which is what they normally sit on my desk. This actually came with one of the pens from Just Turnings. His daughter makes them, or his daughters, should I say. And it's brilliant. It just sits there on my desk and really handy to use. But sometimes I forget to do it and they do roll off and then they bounce. I have a tiled floor. Yes, I've got a mat over it, but you know, there's still a lot of bounce happening when it rolls off. And that's what I put that down to. But yeah, it's really nice. I say so comfortable to use, more so than all the others. When I'm writing, it just vanishes. It's as if it's not there. It's such a nice, comfortable pen. So for all those reasons, I thought, well, let's rank this. I will rank this as position number 1. So that was the ThatPenBloke fountain pen. Let's fetch all the pens in for one final look. Position number 6. That went to the Platypus Model 10. 5 was the Just Turnings Mimas. 6 was Just Turnings Enceladus in Gold and Blue Jay. I'm going to move this down so you can actually see the top. All the bottoms there are down there. At position number 3 was the Just Turnings Enceladus in Elvenwood. Position number 2 was the pens by Caffe. This was a Mokuzai 13. As you can see, it's fairly wide, so pushing out there on the edges of the tray. And then position number 1, I'm going to push that in, is the ThatPenBloke fountain pen. And this is where you can see the bottoms are all lined up. But you can see here the extra length. It's about maybe a centimetre on all the other pens. And it's also slightly wider than the others, apart from that Mokuzai 13. So they were my pens for March of 2024. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. How did you rank these pens? How would you have done it differently? And it's been, so they're all so nice and been very close. Granted, most of them are Yoho nibs, so there's not a lot of actual differences apart from the resin and the maker. But it's been interesting to think about this month. Please hit the thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.